Hey, what's up, y'all, and welcome to episode 155 of the Take One Podcast. I'm your host, August C. Jones, and on this episode, we're going to be talking about the official title for Spider-Man 3. We're going to be talking about the new Disney Plus shows that got its release dates, as well as a Black Superman, a casting for Supergirl for the Flash movie, and we're going to be talking about a couple trailers. So, with that said, let's go ahead and jump right into the main topic, which is Spider-Man 3's official title. So we got last week the official title for Spider-Man 3, which is Spider-Man No Way Home. But that wasn't given to us just right off the bat. First, we had to deal with some misleading titles, which honestly sounds like some misleading titles. It was, you already kind of knew that the cast or whatever, they was basically just trolling us until we got the official title. So Zendaya came out on her social media with the title of Spider-Man Home Slice. Since we all know that they've been keeping consistent with the themes of home in the title or in the subtitle or whatnot, Tom Holland came out with Phone Home, and then Jacob Babylon came out with Homewrecker. And all of those titles, you already knew right off the bat, they wasn't the real thing, that they were just trolling. And I kind of like that they did that, because it showed that they was having fun with it. And I honestly think that they didn't give the official title to the cast members, because Tom Holland, if you guys have followed him for years with the whole Spider-Man thing and the Avengers movies, the MCU, he is kind of similar to Mark Ruffalo, where he can't keep his mouth shut about spoilers. So it's like I wouldn't be surprised if Sony or Marvel didn't give him or anyone a title, that they just called it Homecoming 3 or whatever on set and everything else, and just basically gave everybody the title when they revealed it. So it was like none of the cast members knew until Sony actually released the title of the movie on its social media, not too long after they were given these, titles to put out. But with all that said, what does it mean? What does Spider-Man No Way Home mean? So I have a theory. I mean, more than likely other people didn't have this theory, but I'm going to just say it, because as soon as I heard the title, it just rang in my ears or whatever. It came out in my brain that I believe after recent kind of like negotiation type fights or whatever, and when I say recent, I mean like some years back, when Marvel and Sony were having a problem with the contract that they had, and Marvel wanted to alter that contract to get more out of the Spider-Man movies than they were getting previously, and try to, kind of, I guess you could say, give Sony the bad end of the deal. And it was just to kind of get more money out of it, more credit and everything else, which is kind of like, it wasn't the best thing for Marvel to do. But they ended up reconciling in the end, but seemed like it was for a limited time, not anything that was like going to be going on for years. And if you all know, Sony basically recently came out with their own kind of cinematic universe that they're doing with kind of the Spider-Man characters, with Venom, and then we got Morbius coming out within that same universe, and then also Venom 2, and there were other movies on the table as Black and White with Black Cat and Super Sable, and then they were talking about a Craven movie. They were talking about all these other movies that was going to be part of the Venomverse. And so I think this is a way to exit Spider-Man out of the MCU and put him in the Venomverse, just for the simple fact that we have the trilogy, WandaVision, Spider-Man No Way Home, and then Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness, which may end up taking Spider-Man out of the MCU and putting him in a different kind of like parallel universe with the Venomverse, to where Sony from then on can carry on Spider-Man and basically, just go from there. And I think that that's the way of them doing it, without being so, I guess you could say they could be subtle, but not so subtle, because we don't know the fate. And if I'm not mistaken, the deal is ending soon. Maybe even with Spider-Man No Way Home, the deal with Marvel and Sony is going to be coming to an end. But I think that's more or less what that mean, and where they're going with it. I could be totally wrong. It could end up extending further than that or whatever. We may end up hearing that Disney and Sony came out with a deal to where Spider-Man is going to appear in way more films. Maybe he may make an appearance in the Venomverse. And I mean, we don't even know if the Venomverse even is connected somewhat to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I mean, we haven't heard anything from the Venom movie, just for the simple fact that everything that happened in Marvel, the MCU so far has been major. So it's like, you would think that it would be at least a small mention of the events that happened in, Infinity War and Endgame with inside Venom, because when you see the Morbius trailer, you got Michael Keaton up in there. Michael Keaton recently was in the MCU as a Vulture. So it's like, is he playing Vulture, or is something happening? Like, is it connected to the multiverse? It's like, we don't know. We can only speculate. And then you do see a picture of Spider-Man in the alleyway in the trailer as Morbius is walking through. So it may connect, it may not, it may end up connecting right now, or later on, and maybe not right now. So we don't know. We just honestly don't know. Venom comes out in June. Morbius comes out next year after Spider-Man 3. So I guess we'll find out, real soon about what's happening. But as far as that goes, that's really just my theory. And that's all I got for you guys. So, exiting off the main topic, let's go ahead and jump right into the news feed. And so the first thing that we're going to be talking about in the news feed are the release dates for upcoming Disney Plus shows. A lot of them just got released, so let's go ahead and get right into them. So, I mean, as we already know, Falcon and Winter Soldier is coming out March 19th. We already know WandaVision is about to end. The final episode is this week. And then 2 weeks later, we're going to get Falcon and Winter Soldier, another show that we can sit here and talk about and, guess and speculate on what's going to happen and everything else. But among that show, we got Loki, which is going to premiere June 11th. Chip and Dale reboot show is going to premiere July 23rd. The Mighty Ducks, March 26th. The Bad Batch, which is a spinoff of the Clone Wars, Star Wars, the Clone Wars show, which is going to premiere May 4th. Turner and Hooch, which is a continuation of the older Disney movie, and it's going to premiere July 16th. High School Musical, the series, season 2 is going to premiere May 14th. Monsters at Work, which is a spinoff of Monsters Inc., is going to premiere July 2nd. The Mysterious Benedict Society is going to premiere June 25th. Big Shot Bowling, April 16th. And Zenimation season 2 is going to premiere June 11th. And out of all these titles, it's only 2 of them, I guess you could say maybe 3 of them that really stand out. The first one being Loki. We finally got a release date for that, which we didn't know. And with the constant roll of these big shows that Disney has been putting out with Mandalorian, both seasons, and then WandaVision, and then we're going into Falcon and Winter Soldier, it was kind of like, okay, when is Loki coming out? When is the next show after that coming out? And we finally got that release date. So it's looking like it's about to be a great year for Disney Plus as far as Marvel goes, just with all the shows that's coming out. And I myself and a lot of people like me could not be more excited. But also Monsters at Work. I mean, it's a spinoff of the popular IP Monsters Inc., which is a great movie. The second one I really kind of did like it. It wasn't like as good as the first one, but I did like it. And that one I believe is going to get a lot of people's attention, especially like little kids and maybe even just people that grew up on Monsters Inc. that really did like it when they were younger. And The Bad Batch. It looks like it's gonna be decent. I haven't watched Rebels or the Clone Wars or the Spider-Man animated, not Spider-Man, the Star Wars animated series, but that one is a show that I believe that a lot of people are going to be on, since under Disney, besides Pixar, Marvel, and Star Wars are like their biggest brands that they're pushing out. So I believe that those shows are going to really stand out amongst all these other shows. I mean, I don't know how many people are really down to see a Turner and Hooch show. I High School Musical, the series is, I guess, supposed to be a parody of itself. I've seen the first season. It was like, I don't know how many people were clamoring for it. I almost thought it was canceled. Zenimation, I haven't really been all too enthralled into that. So I mean, all these other shows, it's like, they are there for anybody who wants to, revisit them. Mighty Ducks has a, I guess you could say, nostalgic feel, just kind of like Turner and Hooch, as well as Chip and Dale. But I don't know how many people are really clamoring for those. But I mean, those shows may end up being really good. But like I said, the ones that stand out the most are low-key, The Bad Batch, and Monsters at Work. And I think those are going to be its most popular shows. But I mean, we'll see. But those are its shows. And those, Loki is honestly just really the one that I am looking forward to personally. But hey, I mean, I am just one person, and I'm not a lot of other people. So y'all might be excited over the other things. Who knows? But the other thing under the news feed is that Warner Brothers is developing a reboot for Superman, but with a black Superman. So this is kind of like curious because, okay, so J.J. Abrams and Tanahashi, I believe I'm saying the name right, Ta-Nehisi Coates, which is he's a novelist. They are both developing a black Superman movie. Coates will be penning the script with J.J. Abrams as a producer, but we don't know yet if he is going to direct as well, or is he just going to just play the producer role and maybe just, do the story for it or whatnot. We just don't know. But Warner Brothers have been wanting this ever since 2018 and has been in talks with Michael B. Jordan ever since 2019 about just playing the role. And it was, I guess you could say, it wasn't anything a super priority because really nothing materialized. Maybe they couldn't get all their eggs together or whatnot. But Michael B. Jordan really couldn't commit because he had other obligations and, other things to do. So it was kind of like, it was kind of off the table for him. But more than likely, with it still, kind of being on the back burner, but still in the back of people's minds at Warner Brothers, they still kind of had him in mind. And even with this arising again, they more than likely may be, thinking about putting him in the role as well, again, and like Warner Brothers, J.J. Abrams, and Coates all seem like they are excited to be working on this project and just trying to bring this story together. And like I said, it is a reboot, so it's not anything that I believe is connected to the DCEU or the BVSU, like how I like to call it. I don't think it's connected. I believe that it may end up being an Elseworlds title, kind of like Joker was, and the upcoming Matt Reeves The Batman movie is. So I think that they're going to be playing around with that. Maybe it could be something that could be put into the DCU or BVS universe. I mean, I'm just call it the BVS universe. Just similar to, maybe they could put it in when they do the Flashpoint movie. And maybe that's the way that they can do things, because with the Flashpoint movie, they could do a lot. They could do a lot. They can rewrite history with the recent films that came out with, the up in DC or whatnot. But I this is kind of curious, just for the simple fact that they are coming out, and it's like, I guess you could say that they're being bold with it. Like, they're doing different things. They already have a Joker, but then they made a Joker movie. They already got Batman in the BVS universe, but then they're coming out with another Batman movie. And then they already got a Superman movie. I mean, they already got Superman in the BVS universe. But now they're talking about having a reboot movie where, you're going to have a black Superman. There's going to be a black Superman. And I don't have no problem with it. I know a lot of people going to go up in arms like, this ain't my Superman. My Superman is white. And it's whatever. I'm excited to see something like this, especially if Michael B. Jordan is attached to the role. He is a phenomenal actor, and I feel like he may end up adding something truly great, truly unique to the Superman character. And I just kind of I'm just curious to what is going to center around. If it centers around racism, I don't know. I feel like let's get away from that. Just because he's black doesn't have to be anything racial. Let him just be a regular person. He's from Krypton. Let him just be a regular person. Or maybe he's not from Krypton. Maybe he somehow gets Krypton blood inside of him or something. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. But, I mean, I am kind of curious to see how all this is going to pan out. J.J. Abrams has been known to revive, brands or whatever with Star Wars and Star Trek. So maybe he can do something with this and make it, really big. So I'm very curious to see what's all going to be done and if it is going to be done, because Warner Brothers have been known to talk about stuff like, oh, we're excited, we're going to do this and have this on the table and all that stuff, and stuff don't end up materializing. They just end up shelving it and maybe bringing it out later to talk about it, then put it back on the show. I don't know. But, I mean, if this does come to fruition, I would be very curious to see what they're going to do with it. Is it going to play a major role in maybe replacing Henry Cavill? Wow. Henry Cavill as the Superman, or is it just going to be something totally different in the Elseworlds where it doesn't have any connection? We'll see. But with that, let's jump right into the next thing, which is the casting for Supergirl in the Flash movie. So the Flash movie has been something that we have been, it's been talked about. It may end up happening, it may not, with directors, writers, and everything being attached to it, no longer being attached to it. Even Ezra Miller came out and wanted to write the script for it, so it was a lot that came out about this movie. And it was actually honestly supposed to have been out, but because it's Warner Brothers and because of just the behind the scenes trouble that they've been going through, it hasn't came out to be anything. But recently it has came out that Supergirl has been cast by Sasha Kai. I believe that's how you pronounce the name. She's from The Young and Restless. I can't speak. She's from The Young and Restless, and she would be the first Latina actress to play Supergirl, or just the first Latina Supergirl ever. And she was chosen from 425 actresses who applied for the role, and literally she made a big impression on the execs at Warner Brothers, the producers at Warner Brothers, and Andy Muschietti, who is the director behind the project. They all loved her audition to the point where they was like, yo, this is our girl. This is who we want. And this is someone who's coming off of being nominated for Outstanding Young Performance in a drama series category at the Daytime Emmys. And so that really actually says a lot. I mean, I haven't seen the other 400 and, whatever actresses that applied for the role. But, just to have that behind her, have that on her resume really kind of puts her up in a major way, because that just shows that, yeah, she can act. So she probably does bring something unique to the role that they seen in the audition that she did. And I'm not too familiar with her. I haven't seen Young and Restless. I don't watch soap operas or anything of that nature, so I don't know what type of actress she is. But more than likely, she is great, since she literally stood out over hundreds of other, audition, or, people who audition. And I am curious only to see if this movie happens. It may end up not happening, and this just may end up being something that is kind of like how The Rock is. The Rock has been cast to be Black Adam ever since like 2015, 2016, and nothing has came of it. They haven't started shooting or anything. Maybe it's one of those scenarios since the Flashpoint movie hasn't been even just in pre-production. Maybe it may happen, maybe it not. But I really want to see like where they're gonna go with this movie, and if she's gonna replace Cyborg with all the stuff that's happening with Ray Fisher, and Warner Brothers and everything with Justice League and all that. I want to know, like, is she's brought in to replace him, or is it just something that fits the story? It could be something that just simply fits the story. Cyborg may not just be up in there. It may be something totally different. Maybe we're just jumping the gun or being speculative, more speculative than what it actually is, and overthinking it. But I mean, we can't help but to think that maybe that's the reason why, she has been cast in this role. But I mean, if it fits the story, it fits the story. And maybe they didn't have any plans to put Cyborg. Maybe Cyborg is still in here. Maybe he's going to be played by another actor. We don't know. But I really want to see what they're going to do with this, and if this movie actually comes, to life. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy that they found their Supergirl for this movie, and I want to see what they're going to do with it. I really do. And so that ends everything on the news feed. Let's go ahead and jump right into the reviews to wrap up this podcast. All right, so we're just going to be talking about 2 trailers that I'm going to review. Nothing too big or anything. It's 2 big trailers actually that dropped. The first one being Luca, which is a new Pixar Disney film that we kind of like heard about with the announcements and other things beforehand and everything else. And we finally got our first official, I ain't gonna say official first trailer. I mean, it is an official first trailer, but it's more of a teaser than anything. Actually, both of the trailers on this episode are really just teasers or whatnot, but it doesn't really show too much. It showed that it does have good animation, which is slightly different from what we've seen with Pixar, especially with the most recent film of Soul. It is kind of a different animation style, which is similar to stop motion, which I don't have a problem with. It's just, it threw me off, like, whoa, like it's kind of weird the type of animation that they use, because in a sense they kind of use similar animation with all of their movies or whatnot, with the whole Pixar theory connection and everything else. But that was one thing that just stood out to me within the trailer. And then it looks like it has good humor. It does. Like, I mean, Pixar usually has some really good humor. They got some good people working in the humor department when it comes to that. And we did get that it's coming out this summer, so we don't really have too much long to wait. Maybe about 5 months or whatnot. But what we did get is that, the main characters, they are fish people, or, sea creatures or whatever, but, they look like us. But when they jump in water, they become, fish creatures or whatever. And since the people on land hate them and, condemn sea creatures and hate them and everything else, it's like they have to try to conceal their secret and make sure that nobody knows that they are who they are. And that's really all that we got. That's just kind of like the surface, pun intended, the surface kind of like, story. But more than likely there is more of a deeper story than that. But that's really kind of what we all got from this teaser. And it actually looks pretty good. Look like definitely something that I would take my son to go see, but it would look like something that I definitely would want to see myself. So, I mean, we'll see, but I want to see a full-on trailer and see what all this movie has to offer. But as far as what we've seen so far, it looks pretty damn good. It looks pretty damn good. And so, with that said, let's go ahead and jump into the second trailer, which will end off this podcast. And it is called Army of the Dead, and it is a movie by Zack Snyder, which is a lot of a lot of people have been excited about. And it's going straight to Netflix, May 21st. We got the release date and we got this first teaser. And some of the things I liked about it is that you got Batista running on tables shooting at zombies. You can't look more badass than that. Unless it's Fast and Furious, you know, then you're going to have a problem because you're going to have, Vin Diesel, who is apparently God or Superman within these franchises. But I mean, shit, you don't get no more badass than what Batista's doing up in this. And also, it looks like it's a fun B movie. It's a fun B movie zombie flick that doesn't take itself too serious. Now, and that's actually pretty cool because you don't need a movie like this to take itself super, super serious. It looks like they're having fun with it. It looks like it's just plain out fun. You just have fun with it. And you can tell that because you have a freaking zombie undead Elvis walking around. Like, you can't be serious with that up in the movie. The visuals look good. And the font that they use for this trailer looks very similar to David Ayer's font for the Suicide Squad that came out in 2016, I believe. It looks very similar to that. So I mean, maybe it could be a coincidence, maybe not. Maybe shots fired. Nah, but in any case, that's what the font reminds me of, and that's nothing major. But the whole trailer gives me a vibe like it's an amalgamation of the Resident Evil films mixed with World War Z, mixed with with any like zombie video game that's out or whatnot. But that's not in a bad way. It actually looks like it's pretty decent or whatever, just from how it's shot and the vibe and tone of it and everything. And it is really just a teaser. It really is just a teaser. It has no major plot information given, nor any significant dialogue given in the trailer. It's just literally just to showcase some of the stuff that they have up in there, some of the action, give you kind of like the feel and vibe of what this movie has to give. And that's really about it. It doesn't show anything too major. Like I said, it's coming out May 21st on Netflix. So, you ain't got to venture outside your home. Literally just come on Netflix that day and just check it out. Every once in a while, Netflix will have a very high profile movie that'll drop up on their streaming service. Just recently, it was Malcolm and Marie. And I don't think it was anything too major this year with Netflix besides that. But, I mean, you're more than likely going to have maybe 2 or 3 more big major films that are dropped on Netflix that are just kind of like stands out above the rest. And this is one of those films that really does stand out above the rest. But, yeah, I mean, it looks definitely like a movie I would definitely check out and probably really love. I ain't going to say love, but really enjoy. Definitely it's a movie that my father will check out because he loves his B movies, and this seems right up his alley. So, I mean, we'll see. But with that said, that wraps up this whole podcast. Like, thank you guys for joining me. And, yeah, if you are not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. Hit that notification bell just so that you will be alerted to any new thing that's drop up on my channel. And if you like this video, go ahead, give it a thumbs up. Comment, if you will. And, yeah, with that said, thanks again for joining me. And I will catch you guys on the next one. So, peace out, stay safe, and all that stuff. And, yeah, till next time.